with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter, the Wall Street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow, the newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly...
Hi, thanks so much for joining in. You're watching NDTV Profit. This is Ask Profit. My name is Alex Matthew. With me is Mahima Vachrajani. I got all of that done in one breath. That's a challenge for you this morning. All right. The purpose of the show, of course, is to get you answers to all of your stock-related questions. And to that end, you can either call us on the number that is flashing on your screen, or you can message us on the WhatsApp number that will also flash in just a bit. But let's take you through how the markets are faring this morning. And you have the benchmark that is trading very close to yesterday's close, and it's been a little bit of a choppy session so far. You've had a very small portion of it that was spent in the green, but not too much to speak of in terms of the gainers. Let's also pull up the breadth for the Nifty 50, and it's broadly weak. I'm looking at 22 declines at this juncture, 28 advances. That has changed over the course of the session. At this juncture in the broader markets, you have more declines than gainers, and that is reflective in the broader markets losing more ground than the benchmarks. You have the mid-cap index that's down about 1/3%, similar losses, or just about 0.2% or thereabouts for the small-cap index. And in fact, earlier on in the session where you had IT stocks that stood out as the gainers, that has sort of reversed a little bit. In fact, if anything, we're trading with cuts of about 0.2%. Of course, the trigger for that is Accenture and the fact that it has increased its revenue guidance for the current financial year. Of course, there are a few more stocks that we have, and I'm sure that you will ask those questions later on in the show. But let me introduce our guests for the day, Mahima. We've got Sameer Dalal from Natwarlal and Sons Stockbrokers, and we've got Kushal Gandhi, technical analyst at Stocksbox. Gentlemen, thanks so much for taking the time, and good morning to you. Happy Friday to you. As we wind down the year, we're looking at the latest update from Accenture. Sameer, are you positive on IT at all? Do you think that a turning point will finally come in the new year, or are you waiting? Are you negative?
So I honestly believe that things will get a little better. I'm not denying the fact that IT companies, all of them, when they're giving a guidance where they're saying that, look, the green shoots are showing, you're getting to see revenue increase in guidances, it is a positive. But the problem is the market is positioned in such a way that it's already factored in. And that is why I think to some extent we are seeing a bit of a cut on the IT index today, even though we've seen a positive view coming in from Accenture. Where we find difficulty is simply, like I said in the past as well, as valuations. When you have companies growing in the high single digits to low double digits, where margins cannot really see too much of an expansion in the near term because they've already seen some in the past, and where you're going to see profitability growing at low single digits to high double digits, and to value these companies at 30 and 35 times PE, when they're especially B2B businesses, not B2C, it becomes difficult to say that they have too much upside left in them from the near term. Even if the company grows at 12%, what we are expecting is if margins remains constant, the stock should maximum, if the PE remains constant, is grow at 12%. And that is nothing spectacular when you look at it from where the markets are. Like I said, there is a possibility of always a change in the rating downwards for IT companies because the valuations are expensive. So what could very well happen is in the next year, the IT companies, because of the positioning, may not give any return. So as good as things sound on the ground, valuation discomfort, and hence I'm not positive on the IT stock.
Got it. That's a very interesting roundup on the entire IT space. Moving on to our first query for the day. R.K. Raju from Visakhapatnam is writing in. He has shares of Axis Bank. He's saying he bought some shares at 1165 a piece and then at 1120 a piece. And he wants to know if he can buy additional quantity to average out at the current levels in Axis Bank. Kushal, do you think it's the right strategy to adopt?
No, I would, sort of advise him not to average his positions because the stock is trending down constantly. Since the record highs on 12th July, the stock has been trending with lower lows and lower highs. So I'm assuming that the downtrend might further continue. So there is some selling pressure still sustaining. So it's best that he avoids buying at this juncture.
Avoid Axis Bank. Yeah, it's had a torrid couple of months and it's not looking like it's going to change anytime soon. Do we have the first caller of the day? Okay, we've got Hanuman from Andhra Pradesh who's calling us. Good morning, Hanuman. How can we help you today?
Yeah, hi. Good morning. Thanks for accepting my call. So I want to check on NCC stock.
NCC?
So I bought, yeah, NCC.
Okay. You've bought
So
already at 319, yes.
Yes, I bought at 319, 150 stocks.
What was the thinking?
Sorry?
What was the thinking when you bought it, Hanuman?
Like I want to hold for long term.
Okay.
So it went to 294. Whether I can hold this one or can I add a few more stocks in.
Okay, and when have you bought this? When did you buy this? And what was the thinking in terms of what the company does? Did you follow that? Did you look at the quarterly results?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. I checked all the fundamentals and all. So whether it's like a construction company.
Okay.
So.
Okay. All right. Let me get a question to Samir. Samir, on the fundamentals, NCC, something that you track. If you've lost ground, 319 is the buy price. Would you hold on?
Yeah, I think that's the caller can hold on. And if anything, if it moves down closer to the 260 levels, I would advise the investor to probably add on and do some averaging. I'll tell you what, look, the stock had gone up quite a bit in the past, if you know, but then also it's gone up because the order inflows for this company has been good. The infrastructure spend from the government has been quite good. We believe that traction is going to sustain. So given the fact that orders will grow, given the fact that the top line and bottom line will see decent growth over the next year, and it's only trading at about 24. I'm not saying 24 is cheap for a construction company. I think it's quite a lot. Hence, I'm not saying add it the right away at this point. But if you get corrections closer and you can buy it at around 250, 260 odd levels, I think one should average on. I believe over the next 2 years, the investor will be able to make decent returns given the fact that the growth for the next few years will be quite strong for this company.
All right, next few years will be quite strong for the company is the view coming in on NCC. Next question is from Ekam Barai, who's from Hyderabad, and he's holding 5 shares of Abbott India, and he wants to know whether he should keep holding this for the next 1 year or shift to something like Dr. Reddy's lab. Samir, I'll stick with you for this one. Your view on the counter?
So we had this exact same discussion, if I'm not mistaken, 2 weeks ago. Abbott is a company that focuses more on the India play. It's the India growth story versus Dr. Reddy's is a play on the global expansion of Indian pharmaceuticals abroad, which is the CAMS and the CDMO and all of those spaces. So they're two very different businesses. If you want to believe that India still has a lot of opportunity for growth for the medicine space, of course it does. And also from the baby products, which they cater to the milk products and things like that. I think Abbott's a good company. Only again, valuations are a little bit rich. But then if you go back into history, you'll see that these are the average, these are the valuations these stocks have always traded at over the last maybe 15 to 20 years. So, I mean, even though they're slightly expensive, I think one can hold on to it. But if you're asking me for a switch, then, from the switch point of view, I will say yes, make the switch for the simple reason that Dr. Reddy's has a far larger opportunity for growth given the fact that the US market has huge number of generics coming off. They have a lot of ANDA filings. Even if 3 to 4 of them per year come through, that would lead to a great revenue growth, profitability growth. So from a switch angle, yes, but Abbott by itself also is a very good company and one can continue to hold.
All right. So make the switch is what Samir is saying, because Dr. Reddy's has more opportunities going forward. Moving on, our next caller is from Haryana. We have, Sunil Chahal from Haryana is calling us. Sunil, thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
नमस्कार मैम.
नमस्कार.
एलेक्स जी को भी नमस्कार.
नमस्कार सर.
मेरा क्वेश्चन CDSL पे है
जी.
मैंने 2018 में 800 शेयर्स लिए थे CDSL के एट द प्राइस ऑफ 140.
ठीक है.
अभी क्या मैं इसको 5 to 10 years होल्ड कर सकता हूँ, और शुड आई स्विच टू BSC और MCX?
पहले तो सुनील जी कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशंस आपको, क्योंकि आप ऑलमोस्ट 14 लाख के प्रॉफिट पे बैठे हैं, तो विद दैट पेशेंस हार्टिएस्ट कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशंस इसके लिए. एंड सुनील, अब इसके आगे आपको ऐसा लग रहा है कि आप एक लॉन्गर टर्म पर्सपेक्टिव से इसको होल्ड कर सकते हैं? एंड दूसरा क्वेश्चन, ओके, एंड आपने जब ये खरीदा था, आपका पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू क्या था, क्यों CDSL?
मैम मैंने एक रिपोर्ट पढ़ी थी, उसमें था कि US के अंदर पेनिट्रेशन 50% है डीमैट का और इंडिया के अंदर 2% था. तो इन जनरल इंडिया US को फॉलो करता है मार्केट ट्रेंड्स में, तो दैट्स व्हाई आई परचेज्ड.
बहुत बढ़िया. आई थिंक आपने आपका एनालिसिस बहुत सही पकड़ा है. समीर, आई विल कम टू यू फॉर दिस वन. यू नो, ही हैज डन हिज एनालिसिस परफेक्टली, but what do you think? Should he continue to hold CDSL because he bought it at 140 and he's sitting on significant profits?
Yeah, so first up, I think congratulations to the investor. He's done a phenomenal job, probably better than most fund managers on the street. Coming back to CDSL as a company, also one more thing, it has had a bonus of 1:1, so maybe the cost may have even come down to 70 unless his cost is actually 280. But having said all of that, CDSL is a great long-term investment because, like he said, the penetration of demat accounts in India is still very, very low. The simple problem that I have on CDSL is the valuations are beyond fathomable at this point of time. So I'm not denying that, look, over the next 5 years, you will definitely get an upside. But the probability is what we will see is the demat accounts opening will start reducing. And if that starts happening, these premium valuations that are being attained by CDSL may start getting questioned. So I'm going to say, if you have a 5-year view and you really don't want to do anything, stay. But if you want to make a switch to something where you find valuation more comfortable, where maybe the upside over 5 years could be better, I think it makes sense to move out of CDSL and buy into something else, because like I said, valuations are too high. At some point, it's going to see a massive time correction or a price correction.
So I will come back to you in just a short bit, but we have to take a quick detour and we have to talk about Ventive Hospitality's IPO, which is opening for subscription today. My colleague Sajid is in conversation with the management and the promoter, in fact, Ashish Mota of Blackstone, about the business model and their use of proceeds. Listen in.
Give us a sense of the operations of Ventive. It's Blackstone-backed entity. How big it is and what is the plans that you have?
So good morning, Sajid, and thanks. So Ventive is basically a 2036 key 11 hotel property platform today. The idea about Ventive really is to target the aspirational business and leisure traveler across India. And that's what we are focused on. Like you mentioned, we are focused towards the premium segment. And we operate properties such as the Ritz-Carlton in Pune, the JW Marriott in Pune, the Conrad in Maldives. And we have a pretty active pipeline of hotels that we are looking to build over the next 2 to 3 years as well. I think Ventive is pretty unique because it is a combination of Panchil, who is a very, very high quality developer. If you see some of the properties that we've developed, it really talks about the quality and the design thought that sort of goes in.
I think we might have lost that line, but he was essentially talking about what the company does. Of course, we'll play that entire interview out for you over the course of the day. For now, Samir was talking about CDSL. Samir, you said it's a hold and the valuations are stretched, and you said it's beyond Okay, let me try that again. Let me.
Fathomable, I think that's what that was the
Let me try
word.
that again. Beyond fathomable
Yeah.
is what you said is the valuations of CDSL. And so there, from that perspective, if you were to take some money off the table, let's round up that question for Sunil, who's making so much money. If you were to take money off the table, what would you deploy it in right now?
So there are companies that are doing something in the renewable energy space. That is one of the spaces that is very hot right now, where we believe the next 3 to 5 years you will see exceptional growth. Now, the one company that I would have suggested, of course, and I've been suggesting on your channel quite a few times, and we've invested in it as a disclaimer. We continue to invest whenever we get corrections, is Sterling and Wilson Solar. It's part of the Reliance stable. Reliance owns about 41% of the company. They set up huge solar farms for companies who have the approvals. I mean, the land, and what they earn is a huge 10% margin on that kind of operations. And then they have the O&M business that caters in and adds on to the profitability going forward, which is only going to keep growing. We believe that is something that could do really well over the next few years. Now, coming back to CDSL, why I'm saying they're very expensive is, look, you're getting a lot of activity in the equity markets at the moment from the point of view that they're very volatile and active. And, but whenever a bear market comes, what you will see is the activity will reduce. So the transactional revenue that CDSL gets will start dipping. And that is the reason I'm saying, even though optically it looks like it's only trading at 75, 80 times, but if my volume of trade starts going down, say it falls by 20%, then the operating leverage is so negative that that amount of revenue will disappear, and the similar amount at the PBT level will disappear. So the PE will suddenly start looking like 200 and 220. So from that point of view, I'm saying it's very expensive.
All right, that's a very comprehensive view, Sameer. Thanks for that. Moving on, we have Rajiv from Kerala, who's writing in for BSE. He's holding BSE shares bought at 5325 a piece, and he's saying that 3 months is his holding period. What's the view, please? Kushal, we're sorry we kept you waiting for long, but your view on BSE on charts?
Well, I would recommend him to sort of hold his position with some trailing stop loss. I mean, the trend is quite going well. It's not shown any correction, but yeah, I feel that there's some sort of fatigue, that should be accounted, going forward. So my sense is, the investor can continue holding his position, keeping a trailing stop loss at 5254.
Caller Chandan is calling us from Karnataka. Morning, Chandan. You want to know about Monte Carlo? Is that because of the season or just interested in the company?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I bought Monte Carlo 15 days before, sir, at the price of 959 for the quantity of 25.
Yeah.
And currently it is trading at 898 rupees.
Okay.
So with this daily volatility, sir, from past week, all stocks are getting huge volatility and prices are coming down. So should I hold it for 3 to 6 months? Any chances is there for pick up this share?
So let me get this straight. You bought this for a trading idea and not because it's a garment manufacturer, right?
Yes, sir. Trading only.
Trading idea.
Hold for 3 to 6 months, yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So Kushal, coming to you on the charts, bought at levels of 959, making a bit of a loss right now. Close to 900 is the price. Would you hold on to this?
No, I mean, the stock has been trading, with lower lows, and it succumbed to some minor profit booking. So my sense is if he's holding, he should ideally keep a very tight stop loss at 880. And I'm expecting some move on the upside, once the stock crosses 944, 945, which is the pivotal resistance. So it's at, so my view currently it's neutral, but I would recommend him to put a strict stop loss at 880.
All right, strict stop loss at 880.
I'm going to actually give you a training exercise. She sells seashells on the seashore. Okay? She sells seashells on the seashore.
I will have to do that. Moving on, Vipul Seth from Ahmedabad is holding ITC Limited, bought at 200 levels. 200 shares, bought at an average price of 436. And he wants to know whether he should buy more as demerger of hotel business announced and hold for the next 3 years. Sameer, is that the right thing to do?
Oh, absolutely. I like this business. I think there's a lot of value unlocking going to come from the hotels. Look, hotel companies are trading at very premium valuations. I don't think ITC Hotels is getting the valuations in the entire packet. when it's under the ITC. So once it demerges, the probabilities you'll see good returns coming from there. Secondly, I would like to say that ITC's cigarette business will continue to grow in India. It may be at a slower clip thanks to government interventions where it comes to maybe them adding the GST, which has been one of the negatives floating around, that government may bring this under GST and add some exceptional higher. I mean, it's already there, but I increase the cess that comes on it. So that could be a slight bit of a spoil spot in the near term. But apart from that, the FMCG business continues to grow. The paper business and the agri business continue to grow. So the operating leverages there will keep playing out. We believe at some point in the near future, the FMCG business, once it becomes stable and profitable on its own, will also get demerged, which will lead to value unlocking. FMCG businesses are trading at 50, 60 times, whereas ITC is trading at close to 33 times because of the cigarette business, which is the larger part of the profit chunk. We feel that could be also re-rated. So if a person has a 3-year view, I would definitely go out and say, please add on someone.
Right, that's the view coming in on ITC. We have our next caller, Anand from Hyderabad is calling us. Anand, thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
Yeah, I wanted to know about Adani Green Energy. I bought 233 shares at 11.55 on 11 December.
Mm-hmm.
So wanted to know if on the current price, it's actually trading at 1081.
Right.
Should I hold or should I probably look at a medium or short term?
Okay, so the time horizon that you're looking for is shorter term, right? So you want a technical view?
Yes.
All right. All right. Kushal, I'll quickly come to you on this one. How does Adani Green look on charts?
A negative view on Adani Green. I mean, simply because the shorter term moving averages are acting as constant supply. So any meaningful pullbacks are being rejected constantly. So I would recommend him for, to book the losses and just exit his positions at the current juncture.
Right. Just a standard disclaimer, NDTV is a part of the NDTV group of companies, which is also owned by Adani, and Adani Green is also owned by the Adani Group.
Yeah.
But let's take the next query, Alex.
Yeah, let's talk about Vishwas's question. And he's asking about Reliance Industries. This is a question that a lot of people have. If you look at the share price, it is, the last I saw, okay, it's at 34. So it's about 15 rupees or maybe about less than 20 rupees away from its 52-week low. And that's going to be quite the mark to watch out for. Around 1,217, I believe, is a 52-week low. Vishwas is asking, he's bought it at the time when there was a rights issue, and he's wondering whether to keep holding or whether to add more at the current juncture. So based on the fundamentals, would you... Actually, no, not based on based on the technicals. Kushal, what would you say? Would you buy at this juncture?
Yes, so Reliance is that, we've seen some very heavy distribution starting from earlier this year. So my sense is, even if, the Reliance right now is at quite a demand zone, and let's say even if we have, drawdowns limited at the current demand zone, we'll still have a lot of time because the stock has seen enough distribution. So for stock to sort of again pull it up, we'll have to see a lot of accumulation phase, that Reliance would pass by. So I sense that there'll be a lot of enough time with a lot of enough opportunities to, enter Reliance. So I would recommend to avoid buying, sort of having that approach to do the bottom fishing in Reliance at the current market juncture.
Okay, avoid is the call on Reliance Industries. On that note, it's time to slip into a very quick break. We'll be back on the other side to take more of your questions. And I think we've got a caller on the line. Dinesh, do hold on. We'll be back on the other side to take your query on the start. So do stay tuned.
We set you up for the day's trade. 30 calls before the markets open on NDTV Profit.
Jubilant Food above a 600 level on Friday.
Wipro can be first to buy
all commodities, but in that Vedanta looks good.
Our experts give you the top stock ideas to prepare you for the day.
ICICI Lombard stocks hit the first target.
It has given a very good momentum with good volume.
Don't miss the chance to make the right moves. Only on NDTV Profit, where winners are made before the bell rings.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter. The Wall Street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter. The Wall Street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter. The Wall Street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter. The Wall Street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV.
Welcome back. You're watching Ask Profit, a show where we answer all your stock related queries, whether they're fundamental or technical. You can ask all your queries on the number that is flashing on your screen. You can either call us or WhatsApp us. Moving on to the next caller, Dinesh from Delhi is calling us. Dinesh, thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
Ji ma'am, good morning.
Good morning.
मेरा क्वेश्चन है, ये जिस साल में का मार्ट का आईपीओ मिला था मेरे को, मुश्किल से एक मिल गया था, तो अभी इसको क्या इसको होल्ड करना चाहिए या लॉन्ग टर्म रखना चाहिए या क्या, इसका थोड़ा सा बताएंगे?
ठीक है, आपने क्या सोच के इसमें इन्वेस्ट किया?
सोच के तो कुछ नहीं किया, मैंने तो आईपीओ में जो है लगाया था, हो सकता है चांस मिल जाए।
डू यू थिंक कि आप इसको और लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए होल्ड कर पाओगे या नहीं, शॉर्टर टर्म के लिए लिया था?
नहीं कर सकते हैं।
ठीक है, समीर, I'll quickly come to you on this one. Do you have a view on Vishal Mega Mart?
So we don't have it under cover, but what I can say is, look, the entire space on retail is going through a little bit of a tough period because of the new services being offered by Swiggy and Zomato, which is delivery at home. Now, Vishal obviously is trading. I saw the valuations; it's trading quite rich. There's a possibility that they have good growth given the regions they play in. You know, it's relatively underpenetrated in those, so their expansion could lead to some amount of good opportunity. Plus, the services of Zomato and Swiggy have not yet reached those places where you have, or Zepto for that matter, have not reached those places comprehensively. But when they start moving there, obviously it is going to have some amount of competition, and that could lead to some amount of slowdown in the growth. So given high valuations, for me, I'm not too keen on it. One can take some profit off the table for this.
Dinesh, hopefully that answers your question. Thanks so much for calling us. The next question we're taking is from Sahiti, and Sahiti is writing in from Bengaluru. Bought Tanla platforms at 920 rupees per share. I believe it's slightly elevated. There you go. So it's at 681 right now. It's a significant loss that she's incurring. What to do with this in the short term at least? Kushal, on the charts, is there any chance of a recovery in the price, and what strategy would you employ?
I would ask the investor to exit his position because the stock is constantly trending with lower lows and lower highs. So selling pressure still continues. So I would advise the investor to exit his position at the current market juncture.
Right. The next query is from Farheen, who's from Mumbai. He's writing in for a review on Bajaj Auto. He has purchased it at the levels of 9873. Is that correct? Where's the stock? Oh, yeah. So he's purchased it at 9873, and he wants to know. It's Farheen, yeah. And he wants to know as to what should be the next course of action. I believe he's not mentioned whether it's a fundamental view or a technical view, but Kushal, I'll come to you for this one. He's holding 10 shares. What should be the next course of action?
I would recommend to, if he's holding the position, should rather hold it with a very strict stop loss to 8,700. Again, the stock has seen some declining trends and some profit booking with short-term moving averages acting as constant supply zone. So my sense is just, hold on to the stock because the stock is showing some signs of mild recovery at the current market price. So my sense is just keep a strict stop loss at 8,700. And if there is any recovery, about 9,200, then we might see certain upticks towards 9,700 followed by 10,000.
Okay. I'm coming back to you, Kushal, on LTIMindtree, and this is a question coming from Sumit. He's writing from Bengaluru, and he's looking at the next 2 to 4 weeks as a time frame. He has bought at 6,662 levels, and he's incurring losses because the stock was under a little bit of pressure over the last couple of trading sessions. It is in fact lower, as much as 3% in trade today as well. What is the strategy that you would employ on the charts for this shorter time frame?
Well, LTIMindtree has seen some very sustained selling pressure. The stock is topped out and the stock has started to lose its relative strength compared to market. And in the last 3 trading sessions that we see, we've seen some downticks with some heavy volumes, and it's breached a 50 DMA today. So my sense is the selling pressure can continue, and if there's any recovery above 6,500 is when I expect the trend to continue on the upside. Till then, I'm anticipating for the selling pressure to continue. So I would advise to exit the positions at the current market price.
Exit and bite the bullet, unfortunately, is the view coming in from Kushal. Jayaraman is calling us from Chennai. Jayaraman, sorry, I got your name wrong at the start, but thanks so much for calling us. Good morning. How can we help you?
Yes, sir. Thank you for connecting us, first of all. So we bought Aptech Tea Solutions for 260 a piece.
Okay.
So I want to know in the future whether we need to hold it or sell it, because we are almost facing loss here.
Yeah, you are, certainly. You bought at 260. The stock is currently at 181. What is the thinking that you had, Jayaraman? Did you buy for the long term?
We bought it for short-term, mid-term sense, like at least holding for 1 or 2 years.
1 or 2 years, but you bought it for the short term based on the price movements, right? Not based on the company.
Not based on the company.
Got it. All right. Kushal, on the charts, Aptech bought at 260 elevated levels. Stock is currently at 180 or thereabouts. Would you hold?
I would advise him to exit his position simply because the stock is trending, with some sustained selling pressure. The stock's already down 55% from record highs, and it's still continuing to show some, selling pressure. So 221 are the levels which are likely to act as very crucial resistance zone. So anything, if the stock, is steering about 221 is when I would want to look at a possible entry. Till then, I would ask the investor to avoid the stock.
Right, that's the view coming in on Aptech. The next question is from Francis, who's from Pune. He's saying that he's recently bought Zomato. So he's bought Zomato, but he's saying recently Zomato stock was trading about 300, but now it is corrected to around 286, 287 right now. And he's saying that the current market dynamics and investors, considering the current market dynamics and investor sentiment, do you see that the stock will regain the momentum and go back to the 300 levels? And what would be the factors that will be driving this growth? Samir, I'll come to you on this one. Do you think Zomato will cross 300, maybe let's say by the end of 2025? 2024, sorry.
So 2024, I don't want to take a call on that. Anything is possible. Markets are volatile. 13 rupee upside in a stock like Zomato can happen, I think, in the next half an hour. So anything's possible. But look, if you're asking me whether someone should invest in a Zomato for a long term, which is maybe the next 2 years, I think probably not at this point. Not that we believe that the businesses are not going to grow. We believe that they will grow, but competition is intensifying in the delivery services, which is where they are growing a lot of their operations. So I'm not saying the food delivery services, but the Instamart, the Zepto, the Blinkit part of the business, where their competition is increasing with Amazon expected to get into the fray. You're expecting Flipkart to get into the fray. You obviously have your mom and pop stores who are not going to want to eventually lose complete market share. There are small retailers like the ones that just listed, Vishal, Megamart. You have, of course, your Avenue Supermarts. All these players are now vying for a very similar space. So profitability, for that business may take a little longer than what everyone expected to become profitable. So if profitability gets delayed, then valuations are a bit rich. And we invest in stocks to make return. Now, if in the next 2 years we see a tough time and, given the fact that we have high valuations, a correction in the valuation, even if things start getting better, the stock has got very limited upside. So I would say close to the 200 levels, 220 levels. I don't know if you'll see that ever, but that would be the price. I would like to say that Zomato makes a good buying opportunity at this point of time. I would not, but is it going to reach 300? It could happen in the next half an hour as we speak.
Right, that's an interesting takeaway on Zomato. We have our next caller, Shivam from Gujarat, is calling us. Shivam, thanks for calling in. How can we help you? And if you're a Gujarati, કેમ છો?
બસ મજામાં. તમને કેમ છે?
All good, એકદમ મજામાં. Tell me, what is your query?
Yeah, I have bought HBL Power at 628 rupees.
Okay.
I want a long-term outlook. Should I hold a book profit?
Okay. How long ago did you buy this?
I think 5 to 6 months ago.
Okay. And what was the thinking behind buying HBL Power, to be specific?
Yeah, HBL Power is one of the companies that makes tender coverage system.
Okay. And how long do you intend to keep holding this?
Yeah, I can hold 5, 6 years. I can hold it.
All right. Okay. Samir, your view on HBL Power for the next 6 years?
The next 6 years? Wow, that's a tough one. So look, the coverage business which they are doing obviously is something good. We don't have, again, active coverage, so I don't have a target on this, so I won't be able to give more detail. But what I can say is they're in the right spaces at the right time, be it the battery space, be it the coverage space, be it the defense angle that they work on, a very small part of it. So they are in the right space at the right time. Simply put, valuations. If they've done, I think, 6 rupees for earnings in the first half and probably will do another 7, 8 in the next half. So you're talking of 14 EPS and you're talking of a 600 rupee price. You're talking about 40 times forward earnings, which is quite rich. They need to be able to grow at an even faster clip going forward to be able to sustain these valuations, which I find it very difficult. So for me, I'm not a person who would be recommending to buy this stock. If anything, take some money off the table. There are other companies trading at better valuations which have better growth prospects.
Particularly for the next 6 years. Thanks for that view. And Shivam, hopefully that answers your question. All Cargo Logistics is the next counter that we're talking about. And this is a question coming in from, okay, I'm trying to get the name. Okay, it's a long-term, so it's Sama Tejpal Reddy is asking this question. And would you enter this for the very long term? Here he's talking about the next 5 to 10 years. Of course, it's tough to get that kind of a view, but in the logistics space, on the fundamentals, which stock would you be comfortable buying at this point? Samir, quick answer, and then I'll maybe also take a technical view on whatever you point out.
Sorry, I didn't get the question. You want an info on All Cargo, or you want just...
So All Cargo Logistics is a specific question from our viewer. Would you buy this? Is this your best pick in the logistics space?
So actually, we don't have too much coverage on the logistics space. The one company that we did like and we are beginning to actively cover is delivery. We think there is some scope for the last mile delivery. The operating leverage will play out. And as we discussed, as the online space continues to see traction, companies like delivery will continue to do better. So I would like to play that. All Cargo has a similar kind of business, not similar, but All Cargo Gati. So that is something that might start doing a little better. Rather than buying an all cargo, to be very frank. That's the view I have. I mean, I've never been a fan of all cargo. We covered it in the past. It's been a kind of massive underperformer. So we've taken coverage of it and we've just chosen not to invest in that company.
Got it. Let me also toss it very quickly to Kushal. Kushal, in the logistics space, anything standing out to you? Anything looking attractive right now?
No, I don't find any attractive ideas, from the cargo, from the logistics sector.
Okay. That's a fair point. That's fair. We've got the next caller. Sanil is calling us from Chennai. Hi, Sanil. Good morning to you. And how can we help you today?
Hi, good morning. I had bought Sammaan Capital about a year and close to a year to 3 months back. And that time it was trading at 208. Thereafter, I subscribed to the rights issue also. So altogether now I have about 4,500.
Okay.
But it seems to have stagnated around this level. I was just wondering what the outlook would be.
Yeah, and I'm guessing, considering that you subscribed to the rights issue, you have a longer-term view and you've studied the company, right, Sanil?
Yeah, I bought it because the price to book value was low and, the company was restructuring. So I thought there was value there.
Okay. And is this the... I'm guessing that you have a larger portfolio of stocks. This is one of the stocks that you own in the space. Can you give me a sense of what else you hold in the financial space?
In the financial space, I have HDFC Bank, Kotak Bank, and those are long-term holds. I just hold it.
Okay, good. Let me get you a view on the fundamentals then. Sammaan Capital trading below the buy price, significantly below, in fact. Bought at 208 levels. Would you hold this or would you move this to what he currently holds? What's the view on this one, Samir?
So I'm very, very positive on Sammaan Capital over the long term.
Interesting.
So it's been one of the stocks we've recommended on your channel in the past. Again, disclaimer, I hold it and I'm buying it as we speak. Coming back to why we are buying it, simply put, look, it's a housing finance company that is completely changed. It used to be Indiabulls Housing Finance, which is now Sammaan, which has now changed hands, the promoters. It is being run by professionals with private equity and LIC being the largest shareholders. They've taken a lot of effort to clean up their books over the last few years. They're running down their old book and they're working on getting the new book up and running. Now, their target is in the next 5 years to reach a loan book of 1 lakh crores. Of that 1 lakh crores, 75% will be off its balance sheet, in the sense they will do it through co-lending or through securitization or some sort of way, and 25% will be on book. So for them, capital, they're not starved of. Why the stock has been languishing is because people are worried that they would have to face a bit of NPAs as the old book ran out. So what the management went ahead and did is took a provision in the last quarter of 4,000 crores and cleaned up the entire thing and said, look, there's none of that to worry about now. And in fact, if anything, we'll get recoveries from that. So as those things start playing out and as profitability and growth starts kicking in, I feel Sammaan Capital is something that can re-rate. It's trading at 0.6 times book value. I think it's a great opportunity. The person should probably average some and stay invested for the next maybe 2 to 3 years. And I think the target price that we have over 2 years is closer to 350.
350 is the target price for
More
the
than
next
double.
3 years as per Sameer. Moving on to the next query, Parag Naik from Mumbai has bought 125 shares of Kelton Technology at 51.25 a piece. The stock is currently trading at 159, and so he's sitting on a good amount of profit of around 13,000 odd rupees, and he wants to know as to what the medium target would be. Kushal, I'll come to you for this one. The company has recently done a QIP of 100 crores, but how does it look on charts?
I'm positive on charts. The stock is forming almost like a rounding bottom, which is a sign of trend continuation on the upside. The risk reward is quite favoring at the current market price as well. So, it's a good entry point. So my recommendation is to buy the current market price with a stop loss at near 147. And my target on the upside from a medium-term point of view is 191 followed by 220.
Alex is calling us from Kochi. Alex, good morning to you. How can we help you today?
Good morning, Alex.
Good morning.
I want to talk about Borosil Renewables.
Okay.
I am holding Borosil Renewables at a 487 price. I purchased it 1 year back.
Okay.
And I studied the fundamentals, and after that I bought. At the time, this company was a monopoly company in the solar glass sector. Now other players are also came. But now also it is didn't lose its power, I think. Then in the glass space, other than Borosil Renewables, did I want to look for AS glass or not? Or this Borosil Renewables is more than enough for in diversified play, and also. In the long run, its margin also getting improved. Now its margin is getting affected due to this anti-dumping. Now the government has taken action and it is reflecting in the shares.
Good. I think you've done quite a bit of reading. Sameer, so he's laid out quite a few of the issues that are currently plaguing the sector. Dumping in the space, of course, but the prospects for the solar space are incredible, and that's why I think a lot of people have been drawn towards Borosil. Correct me if I'm wrong. Would you hold on to this?
I think one can hold on to it because there are certain import duties that the government is talking of putting, or I'm not sure if they've already come with it, but they're talking of protecting the domestic market. Secondly, we have a lot of these solar cell manufacturers setting up capacity within India, which would eventually need the solar panels, the glass sheets that go over them. And like he said, rightfully, Borosil is one of the leaders in the space. There are other players getting in, but they are also expanding the capacity. So we believe that two things. One, the pricing will get better, and two, the operating leverage will come through. At the moment, it's very difficult to give valuation because the company is not making any money, right, on the profitability. So we can't say the valuations are cheap or expensive or anything, but we believe that things will get better. And if things were to get better, then we need to factor in and see how much it's getting better and what would be the valuation based on that. So for the near term, for the short term, it's very difficult to call out where the stock could move. But I think if you have a 3-year horizon, I think there could be some upside. Only question is how much of an upside that I don't have an answer to at this point, but one can hold on to the stock.
Hold on to the stock from a longer term perspective is the view coming in on Borosil Renewables. We have our next caller, Yash from Lucknow is calling us. Yash, thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
I'm also good. I had a query regarding TWL shares, Titagarh Rail Limited.
Okay.
I bought it some time back, somewhere around 95, 96 mark.
Okay.
And now it's trading at 1300 somewhere around.
Right.
Yep. It has seen the levels of 1800 plus.
Right.
So should I keep it or what should I do?
Got it. Yash, I think, even if it went to 1800 levels, still you're sitting on a lot of profit. So kudos to that patience, first of all. I just want to know as to what was the idea behind buying Titagarh Rail and for how long do you intend to hold this?
Holding is not an issue. I can hold it for like eternity.
Okay.
And then I was planning to sell it around 1800 plus.
Okay.
But then the stock started depleting.
Yeah.
So
okay. All right. Samir, I'll quickly come to you on this one. The rail pack has been under pressure, in the past few months. But do you think it'll go back to the 1800 levels, Titagarh Rail?
So over the next 3 years, definitely it'll go back to that. The problem is, again, you see, 1800 was again, the prices that moved up significantly. The stock is trading at about 80 times earnings, 80 forward earnings. And we're talking, even if I look at it at the current price, I think it's trading close to about 50 times, I think maybe 50 times forward earnings. So it's not cheap, right? Now, we do believe that the growth for the entire wagon space is great, given the fact that India is putting in huge orders when it comes to upgradation of wagons. They're putting huge orders when it comes to the Vande Bharat trains, which will all lead to great amount of opportunity for companies like Titagarh Wagon. But everything good comes at a price. When you can't buy anything at any price. So for me, the way I look at it is, if you are already invested and you can hold on for a very extended period of time, you continue to hold the stock. However, if it comes closer to the 900 odd levels, I would ask you to add on because, like I said, the next few years is good. But at 1200, it still becomes difficult for me to recommend to add on. But since you're holding and you can hold on, hold it.
All right. You need to address the breaking news that you see at the bottom of your screen. There is a significant update, of course. The U.S. attorney, Breon Peace, who's behind the case that was lodged that jolted the Adani stocks a short while back, and from which the Adani Group of stocks has recovered to a large extent, is set to step down on the 10th of January. He had brought an indictment against Adani Green and others in November. And in fact, he has been accused of bringing charges that are not well thought out. And several frontline voices have actually drawn this up and pointed this out over the course of the last several weeks. He was appointed, of course, by the US President Biden in 2021, and he's set to resign before Trump's swearing in, which is scheduled on the 20th of January. This is, of course, a significant update. A lot of the contents of that indictment have been shot down, have been countered by the Adani Group, and in fact by several leading legal voices in India as well. And this is something that already people have started putting behind them. It is reflective in the stock prices. If you can pull up some of the stocks, Adani Enterprises for one, you have the likes of Adani Green, which has also recovered quite sharply. You have several Adani Group companies that have recovered. But to draw your attention to the fact that this is an attorney Attorney General that has been in charge for about 4 years now. He was appointed in 2021, and he is set to step down on the 10th of January before the new presidency comes through. We've got Hiral joining in to give you some context about this and to tell you what this development means. Hiral?
Absolutely. I mean, if you go to see clearly, this clearly proves as to what's happened so far as well, Alex, in terms of the indictment, because US attorney who's behind the Adani case is resigning. Now, he will be stepping down on the 10th of January, as you mentioned as well. And Peace had brought an indictment against Adani Green as well as the others, and this was in the month of November. Last week of November is when all of this happened. And he had brought flimsy charges in indictment against the Adani management. Now, in terms of the appointment, he was appointed by US President Biden in 2021. And now he will be resigning before Trump's swearing in, which is scheduled on the 20th of January. With this, let's just quickly pull up one-month charts of all the Adani group of companies and see, because after the indictment as well, you did have Gautam, Sagar Adani and Vinny Jain, who were not charged with FCPA violations in this indictment. In fact, they had given out, that's Adani Green, who came out with a statement as well, which actually clarified that it was only Azure as well as CDBQ officials who had been charged with bribery in the US DOJ indictment. These are, if you see the recovery as well, again, in the last 1 month, there has been pressure, but you're just seeing a 1 month chart that's in the month of December. let's just pull up, you know, a 3-month chart, because that will give you an absolute clear picture where the confidence in terms of investors that did come back as well. There you see that dip that came in the month of November, and then the upcycle has continued. So that's with regards to Adani Green, but let's pull up Adani Enterprises, Adani Ports, all of the other Adani Group companies, because that will tell you the story after the upside which has started. But clearly, Alex, you know, in terms of the FCPA violations, all the three, that's Gautam Adani, Sagar Adani and Vineet Jain, have not been charged, right? And clearly, the resignation is also proving that there has been some bit of, you know, I mean, something that has been involved over here as well with regards to where Brion Peace is concerned, because these were flimsy charges that he brought in against the Adani management. The statement already proves as to now this is something which is far behind them, and similar cases that keep coming in, right? So from here on, it's going to be interesting to see as to how things catch up from a management perspective as well.
Yeah, certainly. In fact, there is quite a bit that has taken place under the surface. Nothing that has been officially reported, of course, but there are allegations that have been leveled against Mr. Peace himself. There are reports that have come out about his connections with certain entities at the global stage. And so, therefore, it has been made very clear that this case is not something that is cut and dry. It is the nature of the case, of course, also the way that it was brought about, the fact that the group was not given an opportunity to defend itself before the indictment was made, and the statements that have been made subsequent to that have all drawn attention to the fact that this seems to have been, or at least some people have interpreted that as to say that it might just have been politically motivated. The update, of course, if you're just tuning in, is that the attorney behind the case that was lodged against the Adani Group and a couple of other entities has actually decided to step down, to resign. He will step down ahead of the Trump presidency on the 10th of January. Chakri Lokpriya, managing partner of Red Strawberry, is joining us. Chakri, good morning, and thanks so much for taking the time. To a certain extent, some would say that this was anticipated, but it also lends credence to the fact that a large part of the indictment seems to have been politically motivated. What's your opinion?
You know, today's news of the U.S. attorney stepping down and making way for the new appointee of Trump, who will come in to power on January 20th. And as a lot of information has gone by, which clearly indicates that, you know, there were flimsy charges to begin with, and B, even if it were indeed had to turn into a case, there are numerous instances where it usually ends with the case of a settlement. But it is, even without going there, I think this is clearly, while expected, it's good news that has actually happened, and it removes another overhang on Adani Group of stocks.
How are you reacting to all of this, Chakri? Because as somebody with quite a degree of experience, having seen multiple cycles, the way that you would respond to something like this, ultimately you're talking about a group that has global presence and that has grown very quickly, or obviously in the course of that might have ruffled a few feathers as well in the way that it has grown. How do you anticipate that this will move forward? As an investor in Adani Group of stocks, what should your opinion, what should your perspective be?
You're right on multiple factors, and it is clear that, you know, the Adani Group of companies have become a very integral part of India's economic growth. Adani Green, in particular, for the green energy plants of the amount of gigawatts, 60 gigawatts that will be added over the next, in the coming years, is the largest single facility in the whole world, which, you know, shows the scale of operations. So when such strong growth is ahead of these of Adani Group of companies, clearly as an investor, we bought into the weakness and we would still continue to buy.
Okay, go ahead.
So, Chakri, clearly, I mean, this entire DOJ indictment was with regards to where Adani Green goes. Now, you did see the other group companies as well, which actually bear the brunt of this, right? Now, from here on, now that the, overhang is over, do you think this would be the best opportunity for investors to still enter, taking into consideration the way markets are panning out? Because you have seen a similar situation that happened during Hindenburg as well.
If you take Adani Green as an example, over the last 3 months, I think the stock is still down about 35-40%. And you look at Adani Enterprises, again, some of the parts of various companies, therefore, its valuation has come down. And likewise, Adani Port's not connected with anything, but that stock also has fallen. So clearly, and each one of these cases, now for Adani Ports, is expected to grow its earnings more than 25-30%, particularly over the next many years. Given all this, clearly, for a long-term investor, it presents an opportunity to buy.
Chakri, do stay with us. Sajit is joining us as well. Sajit, what Chakri was just pointing out is that a key overhang is now moving out of the way. And this is an important statement, of course, but from the perspective of large institutional investors also in the group, the likes of GQG that have invested, that have said, even in this instance, that they continue to hold faith with the Adani Group. What does this mean?
If you look at what GQG had said after the first news reports about the indictment came in, is that they want to see more details. And the second thing being that this is not going to have much impact on the entire Adani Group, because they felt that as the new president comes in, he will bring his own team, and Peace would be stepping down from his post as Attorney General of US, and now even Trump has nominated Pam Bondi as the next AG, US AG. So it's going to be something which the street has been looking forward to, and the investors have been looking forward to, saying that this case which has been brought in by the US AG against other companies, including Adani Group companies, is not going to hold water, given the fact that one, they have not been indicted as such in some of the key allegations, and whatever the indictment has been is with respect to some of the securities law which comes under the US SEC. So yeah, so it's
cases rather than
criminal cases in that sense.
Interesting over here was also where GQG actually came out and clarified very clearly that the charges are target individuals, right? It's not the company or the broader operations of the company. So from a fundamental perspective as well, GQG was very quick to clarify on that aspect.
Yeah, because they have been holding assets of Adani Group companies, and such a news does have a ripple effect on their holdings, and so that's the reason they took a day to come out with a clarification to the investors, saying what is their view on this indictment, and they've been holding a firm ground on that, that these are allegations which will be contested in any court of law, and there will not be much of a repercussion for the Adani groups or the individuals which have been named here, and subsequently Adani Group did come out with a clarification also on the indictment, saying that they have not been indicted in any of the criminal matters. It's only some of the securities matter where they may be there's an alleged infringement, and that could be contested, and they will be contesting that. So that's something which is a positive, and going forward it's going to be something which investors have already discounted it after the announcement that has come in from the Adani Group. Chakri, what is your view on this? Do you see that now that you have the former Peace stepping down and now a new AG coming in, there could be a resolution to this at a faster scale?
Yeah, clearly yes. If you look at past instances involving many other companies, any security law violations, if they had happened, 99% of the time it leads to a settlement, and so that could be a route if need be. and as far as there seem to be no other serious charges at this point, so resolution with a clean slate, now clear slate, seems to be the next step ahead.
Just to elucidate that point or reinforce that point, Chakri, when we were reading about the nature of the charge, which is civil in nature, as was clarified by the group and not criminal, I was looking at the list of companies globally that have faced similar charges over the years, and the likes of very, very large companies in Japan, in Europe, and several other countries, including in the US. And so this is not something that is abnormal to take place, right, Chakri?
You're absolutely right about that. Various violations like these happen routinely across the world. Very large companies, Walmart, name it. Any number of blue chip companies have been involved in such cases, which results in having a settlement if there is a need. And I think that is the path in which this case will also proceed, and there is nothing more to it, and one shouldn't really assign a discount because of this. And now, if anything, it's positive that the attorney behind the case is resigning as expected.
Got it. All right. Chakri, thanks so much for joining us on the phone line and for giving our viewers that perspective. Pleasure speaking with you as always. Now, that of course is the latest development coming through. I would like to remind you about the word that came through from the Adani Group chairman, Gautam Adani, and he made these remarks in the wake of the US Justice Department's allegations. Here's an excerpt from the speech that he had made at that time.
While we have had our successes, our challenges have been even bigger. However, these challenges have not broken us. Instead, they have defined us. They have made us tougher and give us the unshakable belief that after every fall, we will rise again, stronger and more resilient than before.
All right, and that brings us to the end of this particular program, but there's lots lined up over the course of the day. I'd encourage you to stay tuned. This is NDTV Profit.
We set you up for the day's trade. 30 calls before the markets open on NDTV Profit.
Jubilant Food above a 600 level on Friday.
Wipro can be first to buy
all commodities, but in that Vedanta looks good.
Our experts give you the top stock ideas to prepare you for the day.
ICICI Lombard stocks hit the first target.
It has given a very good momentum with good volume.
Don't miss the chance to make the right moves. Only on NDTV Profit, where winners are made before the bell rings.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter, the Wall Street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter, the Wall Street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter, the Wall Street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your...
At last year's Bihar Business Connect, I had promised that I would keep coming back to you to update you on what we are doing in Bihar, and let me give you a snapshot of our current and future investment roadmap for Bihar. In three sectors, logistics, gas distribution and agri-logistics, we have already invested in excess of 850 crore rupees and have created 25,000 direct and indirect employment opportunities. We are now going to invest an additional 2,300 crores in these sectors. This investment will not only massively increase our warehouse and handling capacity and expand our presence in the EV, CGD and the CBG space, but will also generate an additional 25,000 direct and indirect local job opportunities. In addition, we are also working closely with your government to potentially invest another 1,000 crore rupees in developing strategic infrastructure in Bihar, like the Gati Shakti railway terminals, ICDs, the inland container depots, and the industrial warehousing parks. Another sector where we are investing is in the smart meter. As Bihar migrates from the conventional electric meters to smart meters, we have invested additional 2,100 crore rupees to install over 28 lakh smart meters to automate power consumption monitoring in 5 cities: Siwan, Gopalganj, Vaishali, Saran and Samastipur. And this will generate approximately 4,000 local jobs in this technology segment. 5 months ago, at the end of July, we also entered another exciting space in Bihar, where the Honorable CM personally came and laid the foundation of our first greenfield cement plant since our acquisition of ACC and Ambuja Cements 2 years ago. The new project is in Varsaliganj. It is a cement grinding unit and we have more coming on the way. We intend to invest 2,500 crore rupees in Bihar to set up the cement manufacturing capacity of 10 million metric tons per annum in multiple phases. And this has the potential to create about 9,000 direct and indirect jobs for the people of Bihar. Honorable Minister of Energy, we are also exploring investments in avenues in Bihar's energy sector. Our plan is to invest around 20,000 crore rupees to set up an ultra supercritical thermal power plant. We expect such a massive project to open up at least 12,000 job vacancies in the pre-commissioning phase and also lead to around 1,500 skilled jobs during the operational stage. Honorable Chief Minister's relentless focus on improving the business landscape in Bihar and the incredible support always available by him and his highly efficient and motivated officers are paving the way for an investment boom for Bihar in the years ahead. On behalf of the Adani Group, let me thank you, all the honorable ministers, honorable CM, Deputy CM, Energy Minister, as well as the Industry Minister for their constant support, guidance and encouragement, and also for the opportunity to do more in Bihar, with Bihar and for Bihar. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Hello and welcome to KYC, a brand new show at NDTV Profit. And in this fast-paced world of stock markets, investors are bombarded with information, but when they often lack is deep, comprehensive understanding of the companies that they invest in. KYC, Know Your Company, is a show designed to give you regular investors powerful, actionable insights into the fundamentals of a single NSE-listed company every single day. And today we have in focus with us Supria Life Sciences. Now, the reason why we thought it would be a good idea to take this one up is because we've actually seen a lot of traction in terms of its price action of late. In fact, we've also had a conversation with the management of the company a couple of times in the past few months, and we thought it would be a good idea to not only look at the company, but also perhaps discuss the future of the company with the management itself. But as usual, let me start by telling you about what the company does. Well, it is a pharmaceutical major. It has niche products with a basket of around 32 APIs with about 1,700 customers. In the APIs specifically focused in antihistamine, analgesic, also anesthetic, as well as anti-asthmatic and anti-allergic drugs. So, well, it has the whole gamut of drugs as far as these specific areas are concerned. And it has diversified operations. It has presence in about 128 companies. This is as far as the company is concerned. But what we usually do with all the companies that we address is that we take these companies up and we rate them on a handful of parameters. So, of course, in this case, we're going to talk about, well, the income statement. We're going to talk about the balance sheet, return ratios, cash flows as well. And after that, we take a look at the shareholding, street credentials, the street coverage, though in this case, it isn't much, and of course, the valuation picture too. And of course, to take us through that, we also have with us Varsha Chandani. She's going to help us out to decipher the company going forward. So, Varsha, thank you for joining in. Let's start by talking about the revenue growth. Because there's been volatility in terms of revenue and also the consequential impact that the profits have seen. What is your observation here?
Right. So, Agam, so if you just analyze the income statement for this company, so revenue for the last 3 years, if you see the CAGR return, it's almost 13%, while EBITDA is flat and margins for FY24 is 31%, and the net profit, if you see on a CAGR basis in the last 3 years, it had been negative. Now, there's a reason for that, because in COVID, so if you analyze this company, so there's a huge difference we have seen in this company. So in 2022, in 2021 and 2022, the most contribution was from China. And because China was closed due to COVID, So this company couldn't sell high margin products to China, and this is the reason. If you analyze the numbers in 2021 and 2022, the margins were in pressure. The revenue was not good. This is the reason we are seeing this kind of low growth numbers. But now company has actually been diversified, so they have been shifting from China to regulated markets. So overall, this is the reason why you're seeing low growth in financial statements. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a neutral rating because of the various challenges that the company is facing. But as far as the balance sheet is concerned, it's a pretty steady state here, and that's why we're going to give it a thumbs up, because it has a net worth of about 815 crores. Gross debt stands at a negligible 5 crores, and its cash in books is at a negative 84 crores. But because of the fact that it doesn't have any debt, well, it's not too much of a concern, which is why we're going to give it a thumbs up. But how about the return ratios then, Varsha?
Well, I would give a neutral rating for that as well, Agam. So if you see the ROE and ROCE for 2022, that's quite good. But don't consider this number, because this is a one-off. The company had a very good numbers in 2022. But if you see in 2023, the ROE was 14% and ROCE was 17%. Now again, the reason for it, because the numbers were not good in 2022 and 2023. This is the reason why we are seeing pressure in ROE and ROCE. In 2024, again, they're back. So if you see return on equity 16% and ROCE is 21%. Moving forward, if you see numbers, the return ratios may augur well for the company, because they are entering into the new therapeutic areas, or into the new segment, that is CDMO as well, which we are going to talk about later.
All right. And moving on, if you consider the cash flows too, well, they've been holding out and reasonably well. Well, let's consider the cash flows from operations specifically. In fact, they've seen an improvement, about 113 crores in FY24 and about 64 crores in FY23. Sure, on a net cash flow basis, the number is negative, but we must remember that it's a positive number coming in from cash flows from operations, which is why we'll give this one a thumbs up as well. But it's a well-held company too, right, in terms of shareholding?
Yes, so actually I would give shareholding pattern as a thumbs up. Now why? One is the promoter's shareholding pattern has not changed. This is a good thing, because the promoter has a skin in the game. The number two factor is your FIIs, that is foreign investment players. They have actually increased their share. So in 2024, in September 2024, it is almost 6%, versus if you compare it with June quarter, it was 4.9%. So good uptick when it comes to FIIs number. And even if you see the DIIs, so DIIs numbers is also not changed. So pretty actually a good kind of shareholding pattern this company has.
Right. And in terms of your street credentials too, a very strong price action on the stock. 5-year performance, about 58%. In fact, in the last 1 year itself, the stock has moved up nearly 3x, so 181% gains there as well. So pretty strong show, so it's thumbs up there. What about valuations, Varsha?
So on the face, Agam, it will look like that Supria is comparatively, it's present at a good valuation. If you see the FY25 annualized P is at around 39x. If you compare it with its peers, that is Newland, Divi's and RT, so a pretty good comparison to industry peers. But there's one thing here, because if you compare it with Newland, Divi's, these guys are more into CDMO business. Now CDMO business and CMO business typically gets a high PE, a premium PE, versus Supria will enter into CDMO business now. So maybe the numbers from CDMO business we will see in Q3 onwards. This is the reason that you are seeing 39x P versus 66 and 83x P. Moving forward, if you see, when company will be a fully CDMO player, we can see good uptick in valuation. So on a valuation wise, yes, good number I would actually give.
Okay, so well, it's again a thumbs up there. And in terms of street coverage, we don't have a lot of analysts covering this company, which is why we're going to go with a neutral, though we have one analyst who has in fact a buy here. And that will bring us to a total rating as far as this company is concerned, based the parameters that we addressed right now. And the total rating in that case comes down to around 6.5 out of 8, which is not a bad rating at all. Do remember that there are no thumbs downs, and there are a handful of neutrals, which is why we've given it a 0.5 point. So that's how things stand. Very quickly, if we can just consider the strengths and weaknesses as well. Strengths, again, facilities supporting backward integration for 15 products. It is in a well-regulated market, but significant export presence, and gets, in fact, 83% of its revenues from exports. And in terms of weakness, well, I reckon that this is a double-edged sword. So it's not necessarily a weakness, but it does have product concentration, about top 3 products garnering about 43 to 45% in FY24. But what about opportunities and threats, Varsha?
So opportunities, Agam, if you see, the next leg of growth for this company is CDMO business. Everyone is betting on Supria for CDMO business. One is that. The new products that company is entering into the other opportunity, and they are also expanding their business into the other markets like Brazil and Mexico. Now, when I talk about threats, so regulatory compliance is one of the risks that the company has been facing, and of course, complex, lengthy and high approval in international market is the other threat that the company has.
All right. And finally, Varsha, the outlook for the company?
So pretty good outlook. So if you see, they'll actually ramp up their sales from existing products going into new products, and also CDMO and CMO opportunities with where the street is actually betting on. They expect to grow their top line by 22 to 23% in FY25, with EBITDA margins at around 30 to 32%. They're also focusing more on regulated markets to file few products in Europe, and they expect 1,000 crores of revenue in next 3 years. And the CDMO business, which street is betting on, is actually expected to contribute 120 to 150 crore in revenue over the next 3 years.
Okay, there you have. So, bright prospects coming in as far as the company is concerned. But on that note, we slip into a short break, but you shouldn't be going anywhere, because we now, in fact, will get in the management of Supria Life Sciences to talk about all the factors that we've put forward to you, as well as the outlook. Stay tuned in, and we'll be back in just a bit.
We set you up for the day's trade. 30 calls before the markets open on NDTV Profit.
Jubilant food above a 600 level on Friday.
Wipro can be first to buy
all commodities, but in that Vedanta looks good.
Our experts give you the top stock ideas to prepare you for the day.
ICICI Lombard stocks hit the first target. It has given a very good momentum with good volume.
Don't miss the chance to make the right moves. Only on NDTV Profit, where winners are made before the bell rings.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter. The Wall Street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter. The Wall Street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter, the Wall Street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow, the newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter, the Wall Street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow, the newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed.
Let's get in the management of Supria Life Sciences into this conversation now. We have Saloni Wagh. She is the Managing Director at the company. Saloni, good afternoon and thanks for taking the time out. Saloni, my first question will have to do with your operating margins. Now, from what we understand is that you have about 15 products which have the benefit of backward integration, and about 75% of your revenues come from those 15 products. The other aspect that could potentially be playing out in favor of your margins is that you have a relatively larger exposure to regulated markets. So among these two factors, what is it that's actually keeping the markets much higher? Is it one case which has a higher influence on your better margins as compared to the other?
No, I think both have the equal amount of influence on the margins. The backward integrated model helps us to have a complete grip on the costing, because we don't outsource any kind of advanced intermediates. We manufacture right from the basic stage. So we have a very good grip on the costing. And at the same time, more penetration into regulated markets where the average selling price of the products is significantly higher. That goes back to the margin. So at one side, we are actually saving costs. On the other side, we are getting better average selling price. So both are adding back to the margin. So I would say 50-50% to both.
Right. Saloni, hi, Varsha this side. So sticking to the margins, now this recent quarter we had a good uptick in margins. But I suppose I understand that your guidance for the margins has been around 28 to 32%. Are you being more conservative